Hi, with me today is Alex Shevchenko, CEO of Aurora Labs. Welcome.
Hello, Vladimir. Thanks, 1inch, for welcoming me here.
My first question is about you, about your experience in crypto. When and how were you first exposed to crypto?
So it was 2015. I was going to a vacancy fair when I was finishing my PhD, and I saw a kind of nice pop-up of a company, and there were lots of different words there, and it was immersion cooling technology. And at that moment, I was working with NVIDIA company, and they were building the data centers with immersion cooling for GPUs, and it just caught my eye. And then a nice-looking woman was was just grabbing me and saying, "Do you know anything of this stuff?" And I said, "Yeah, immersion cooling." And she told me, "Well, what about Bitcoin? Have you heard of this stuff?" And I said, "Well, yeah, a little bit." Eventually, I ended up working with this company. This was a Bitfury company. They were focused on Bitcoin mining. And already in 2015, I started my work in crypto as a first job after doing PhD and after academia.
Cool. Quite a long time ago. But were you immediately interested, or did you just consider it as something that might or might not work?
It was actually taking me just a couple of days to kind of fully immerse in the values of the blockchain. And being the Ukrainian and in general the Eastern European mentality leads to a very straightforward outcome that you cannot trust your government. And for me, it was kind of a pretty straightforward technology to apply for how governments are actually working. And the first use case that I think of was the rightful, truthful election system, that is going to be much better than the existing election system. So we actually can build a democracy on top of this. And yeah, for already 7 years, it just keeps me up all the day, every day, and I'm super fascinated of the true values. They are a bit farther from the DeFi values, but in general, transparency, censorship resistance, and the control in the user hands. This is something that I really value, and just trying to progress the technology a little bit forward and make my contribution.
You've been in the space for so long. What's the craziest thing that you've experienced or done in crypto?
That's an interesting question. There were lots of ups and downs. I would say that I really value how crypto people are able to work together and do things together. There were several moments in time when people were just making insanely valuable decisions. And one of these, I would say, was at the moment when I already started to work with Near. I was invited as a product manager for everything that is Ethereum related. And then at some point in time, Ilya, the CEO back then of Near Inc. And the founder of Near Protocol, he was just casually coming to me and saying, "Hey Alex, what do you think of spinning off Aurora?" There was no such thing as Aurora, and I was saying to him, "Well, let me release Rainbow Bridge and then release Aurora, and then we will be able to spin it off." So we released the bridge in March 2021, we released Aurora in May 2021, and already in June, Aurora as a separate entity was a spin-off and incorporated, and yeah. So super quick succession of the events that actually determines the key values that we have at Aurora, and one of these key values is constant delivery of things, and I believe that period was insanely intense, and I'm really proud that we were able, myself and most importantly my team, we were able to deliver things.
Cool. Now let's segue to Aurora. And could you briefly explain what Aurora is for those who are not familiar with the project?
So we started as an EVM solution that is built on top of Near. From the standpoint of the developer and the user, Aurora looks like and feels like a separate L1 that is EVM compatible. From that standpoint, you can think of it as yet another Ethereum, yet another Polygon, Avalanche, whatever. So, however, it is not enough from my point of view. Just having an additional network there, it doesn't bring any value. For us, there are two key pieces that we are focusing on in order to extend a little bit just the EVM that we have inside. First one is obviously scalability. EVM is fundamentally not scalable. It is a synchronous environment, and in case a person is saying to you that EVM can scale to thousands or like hundreds of thousands of transactions per second, it is a lie. So the only way how you can scale it is actually to kind of fork it, have many different EVMs. And here it comes the unique value proposition that is working together with Near. So Near is a sharded blockchain, which means that the more smart contracts you upload there and the more shards this blockchain is spawning, the more computations you are able to get out of this. So we really looking forward to scaling Aurora through the sharded mechanism of Near. This thing is not available anywhere. So this is one thing. The actual product for this is now being wrapped up, and a little bit later, maybe in half a year, it is going to be presented to the public. The scaling solution that is based on Aurora. And there is a second point that we're really focusing on, and this is the user experience. Blockchain user experience at the moment is really bad because we are, as an industry, we are in the early stage of the technology development, and because of this, we are exposing too much guts of the protocols to the users. Blockchain users now know the concepts of, gas, gas prices, the maximum amount of gas, stuck transactions, the need to speed transactions up. All of these are very low-level primitives. And for example, when you're using internet nowadays, you do not know anything about TCP/IP protocol, how the packages are, sent each other to the server and back, or how the TSL is working, right? That's the thing. I do believe that in order for us to actually have a strong say and to achieve mass adoption, we need to radically simplify the user experience and make it absolutely similar to the Web 2 user experience. When people looking at their phone and just swiping a finger and it unlocks. So the action of unlocking of the phone is authorized by biometrics. And this is what we are focusing on Aurora right now at the moment. We have this product that is called Aurora Plus, where Web2 users are able to create an account within 1 minute without any prior knowledge of the crypto. And they are already able to transact without the need to acquire a crypto to pay for the transaction fees. So this big thing, the second big thing that we are focusing on is this user experience. And you can easily see how these two pieces are coming together. One doesn't make sense without the other, because if the user experience is great, it means that really quite a lot of people are able to onboard to the blockchain through different Web2 use cases. And in order to host these people on the blockchain, well, you need to develop the scalability solution that will allow lots of transactions on this blockchain. So yeah, these are two directions that we are working on.
Mm-hmm. You have spoken about scalability. I'd like to ask you to provide your opinion about the scalability issue in general. There are various approaches. There is sharding, which you mentioned. There are like L2s. How far are we from solving the scalability issue?
So yeah, scalability problem was as far as I remember, it was the second comment to the initial Satoshi's white paper that yeah, cool, nice concept, but you are going to face the scalability problem. And since then, since 2009, like this problem is not fully solved, right? I really believe that that Near's approach, when people are building, when there is a sharded blockchain with a common environment, common runtime, and an ability asynchronously call transactions, call different smart contracts within a single transaction, is the way to go. This is how the modern Web2 systems are working, right? This is how JavaScript works, right? You are calling some API, and this is a sync call. You're waiting until this API actually delivers you the response, and then you're acting on this stuff. It is very, very straightforward for any developer in Web2. In case there is a system that allows to have the asynchronous approach, but it is packed in a single blockchain that is scalable through addition of new shards, or you can think of this in new servers that are doing more computations, then it is an absolutely great system. From the other standpoint, I also admire that ZK technologies and ZK EVMs and different advances there, they also make quite a lot of sense. In general, the combination of these two pieces together, these can bring tremendous value to the blockchain. Probably somewhere in the future, as a unified standard for the blockchains, we would see sharded blockchains with ZK runtimes available on top of them. In terms of how long it would take, well, sharded blockchains already exist right now. Near is sharded. There are some other projects that are trying to build a sharded blockchain. So we are progressing. I would say that Near is the leader here, but the others are also moving in this direction, which is great. In terms of ZK tech needs to mature a little bit. It is extremely complicated. The amount of usually, if you're putting only one foot into this, there are tons of researchers, there are tons of PhD students that are doing this research. Usually, you end up with a single student or a single person saying that the thing that another is claiming to do, that they did this is fundamentally cannot be done, and it is very hard to understand what actually is happening there. So ZK is in a very, very early stage there. So it needs to mature. I think before we really can be kind of using ZK in production, it is going to take multiple years, maybe 5 years or something like that. We are maintaining the Rainbow Bridge. It is working right now on the kind of optimistic setup, and we've developed the code that is using ZK in order to kind of make it a little bit faster. And as a CEO of a company that manages the Rainbow Bridge, and when it was $1.5 billion of locked stable coins there, now after the market drop it is a little bit less than this. I can say that it is extremely risky to implement this great tech in production because we are losing the control of the code. We cannot respond really quickly on different threats. So yeah, maturing ZK technologies, sharded blockchain, together these are going to solve all of the scalability problems in the future.
Mm-hmm. The Aurora protocol is governed by a DAO. What is your overall take on DAOs? Can they have use cases outside the crypto space?
DAOs is from my standpoint, DAOs is an extremely great development fundamentally. It is, you can think of a DAO as a community-owned wallet that is, and these people, this community is united with some kind of goal, whether it is direct in the development of a particular protocol, or maybe investments in some research or in some particular projects. I do believe that in the current market, many DAOs are existent only because of the uncertainty with the regulations. And this is kind of a protection mechanism for many people. Unfortunately, since we are so early and the tech is really complicated, the DAOs right now are not that efficient. It is much simpler for people to create a vote in Twitter or in Telegram. So at the moment when we would be able to make the tech look and feel like Twitter for the DAOs, things are going to become much simpler. At the moment, it really requires people to push through the DAOs. It is obviously less efficient than centralized solutions when there is a single company that is making decisions. But this is the right way to go. As we know, only kind of established democratic ways of governing countries or big societies or big communities, this is something that can lead to the progress and to great results. In case there is a single person who is making a decision, unfortunately these communities can fall back to dictatorship, and it is not, at some points in time, it becomes not fun for everyone.
Mm-hmm. I recently saw a report that a subsidiary of Aurora Labs received a grant to set up a protection program for USN, which is NIA's stablecoin. Could you explain a little bit how this program is going to work and what has to be done to make sure that USN is all right and doesn't share the fate of UST?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so first of all, I would say that UST and USN have pretty different mechanics. UST was a fully algorithmic stablecoin that was connected, and the mechanics of it was connected with the mechanics of the base token of Terra protocol, which is Luna. And actually, these tokens have been minted and burned. With USN, the mechanism was a little bit different. When people are trying to create new USN, they need to deposit on the smart contract some NIR, and according to the current price, the appropriate amount of USN is minted. And when people are willing to redeem NIR from the USN, so convert it back to NIR tokens, well, you need to deposit back or like burn USN and get the respective amount of NIR. So in case the price of NIR is going up, and then, for example, from 10 to 20, you are getting 10 USN per 1 NIR, and then when you're redeeming this 10 USN, you're getting, at the price 20, you're getting only half a NIR, right? Then everything is good, the collateral, the treasury is over-collateralized. However, in case the price of NIR is going down, then the collateral ratio decreases, and that's the problem. Now, there were protection mechanisms from these events installed inside of the USN. So first of all, DCB, Decentral Bank, they were depositing quite a lot of NIR in the treasury, and they were starting to grow the supply of USN slowly. So even the major drop is not going to cause collateral ratio going below 100%. And also the NIR that was deposited in the treasury is able to be staked naturally in the NIR blockchain, because it is a proof of stake blockchain, and generate around 10% yearly profit. So it was more or less okay-ish system back then and during the first version. However, the drop was happening, and and the decentralized bank team figured out that there might be problems with this, so they closed this mechanism, and instead they installed the mechanism of redeeming USN one-to-one with USDT. However, and this was happening in May, somewhere around the Terra Luna problems, right? And then since then, though the central bank team was reacting really fast, the market was going down and crashing a lot, and the central bank team was coming to Near Foundation and saying that the current collateralization of the USN is below 100%. It was around 90% or something like that, and they were asking for help, how to protect the users. And the Neo Foundation was looking at this and saying that yes, we would like to help the users, and we would like to have a partner who would be able to do this, who would be able to actually fix the collateralization problem. However, in order to do it properly in accordance with the existing laws, this USN protection program, it needs to allow for KYC of the users who are redeeming USDT back from the USN. So what the White Knight protection company is doing at the moment, they are allowing the people to pass KYC, send USN tokens, and receive back USDT tokens. At the moment, the protection program, there were $40 million in the format of USDT that were put aside for this. It fully covers the collateral gap, and at the moment, around 5 million of this USDT was already exchanged into the USN. This USN that was obtained from the users is not used. It is burned, or like it's just staying at the moment at this wallet where people are sending the funds. There is no intention to use this USN, right? So this is how this protection program is going. It is already live for a little bit more than 1 week. There are no problems in the operations. We see only kind of positive moves and mood of the community. I would like to emphasize one really important piece, that though the USN project failed, Near Foundation and DCB, together with Near Foundation, they were stepping in the situation, and they were proactively thinking of how to fix this situation without any damage to the users. This is something that was not happening in the Terra UST situation. And though the USN project is winding down, gradually winding down right now, this program is showing extreme robustness of the Near ecosystem, and the fact that the true value of the ecosystem is users. For me, it's like a blue screen of death on the Windows computers. The system detected an anomaly. It is going to shut down, but we are doing it. But the system is doing this at the moment in order to prevent other catastrophic events happening in the future. So just kudos to Near Foundation and DCB for making this move, and from Aurora Labs, we're here also to help the community. So happy to help Near Foundation with facilitating this program.
Mm-hmm. You've mentioned that Terra UST is an algorithmic stablecoin. Does its collapse mean that this algorithmic stablecoin model is not sustainable?
That's an interesting question. Like the big question is how to determine the algorithmic stablecoin. Everyone is saying that UST is an algorithmic stablecoin. Some people are saying that DAI, for example, also algorithmic stablecoin. The others are saying that CDP type of stablecoins, they are a little bit different. From my side, it is kind of close to the algorithmic stablecoin too. So the idea in DAI, obviously, as many people know, is you're depositing some collateral with a collateral ratio of 150% or more, and you're able to mint DAI tokens. And the current market cap of DAI is above 6 billion. That's quite a lot. And it seems like there are no major attacks that are happening there, and there are no major, in case the liquidation bots are working great for the stablecoin, then it seems that everything is okay. So even after the drop, we have this 6 billion, and it seems like this mechanism is working. It makes sense. It gives you the room. There are ways how to improve it, obviously, but in general, I think that these type of stablecoins, algorithmic stablecoins that are based on the CDP, they are here to stay, and we will see the development of this further during the next bull run.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to ask you a few more general questions about the crypto industry. You've been talking about user experience as one of the main obstacles for mass adoption of crypto. Are there any other obstacles that need to be overcome?
Quite a lot, right? A regulatory environment is extremely uncertain. And because of this, people that are working in crypto, they are kind of caught in the middle. They don't know when the regulators are going to impose some rules, and this will cause them to close their businesses or do something crazy. This is one thing. But besides that, I do believe that that blockchain vertical, as the whole blockchain vertical, is losing momentum in comparing with Web2 technologies, and especially with new developments like AI. We are kind of running a little bit of, we're running out of steam, and we need to accelerate. We really need to accelerate. And the risk here is that different ecosystems are fighting with each other. Many of them, or like at least some of them, they are being pretty aggressive with their marketing. They are dancing on the bones of the failed projects. And because of this, we are not united, right? In case IT giants of Web2 are going to, will decide to crush the blockchain, unfortunately, I need to admit that there is a high chance that they would be able to do it. And we need to stay strong, we need to stay united, we need to stop fighting with each other and progress the power of the decentralization and censorship resistance further together. And yeah, I believe that that's one of the most important things that we need to do. Because if we would not be able to do it, IT giants are going to take our ideas. They are going to really change the substance of these ideas, and they are going to include it into their value proposition. And it will be extremely hard for us to explain to people how we're different from them. And I give you just one simple example for this. Apple was never using billboards in their marketing. And for a couple of years, they already started to do it. I've seen the majority of the billboards of Apple that I saw. It was just a person who is holding an iPhone in his hand, and that is closing his face, and just one word, privacy, was there, right? So we're talking about privacy in the blockchain quite a lot, right? And talking about user owning the data. And obviously, Apple is not doing anything like that, right? Their privacy solutions are absolutely different. However, the narrative is already there. We are, as a blockchain industry now, losing the privacy fight to Apple already today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've mentioned that the regulatory environment is quite uncertain. What would be an ideal regulation for the crypto space?
I think that the governments need to experiment with this. What they see is that there is something happening there. There are tons of money in this space, so we somehow need to impose taxes and make these people pay, right? But instead, what I believe they should do is something like a Dubai model, right? Create a hub where things are going to be transparent. The businesses are able to work with the government on a very lightweight rules, how to kind of apply for participation in these hubs. But the businesses would know that in this hub, nothing is going to happen. And it doesn't matter what is going to be a tax there, whether it is going to be 0% or 1% or whatever. It's just the initiative that is coming from the government that here is for you an official governmental approved blockchain in case you're coming, like you're accepting the simple rules, you're registering as a blockchain business, you're deploying your smart contracts there, and things are progressing forward there, then everything is okay. You are in a kind of, you do not have the regulatory risk. And as soon as this is going to happen, these governmental blockchain sandboxes, they are going to get insane amount of capital and insane amount of kind of increase of the GDP of these countries, because this will be a virtual part of the economy. I would say a blockchain part of the economy for these governments. I really encourage governments to think of such sandboxes. It is going to move the adoption of the blockchain forward, and in a couple of years, governments would be able to rethink how the regulation is working around it and actually make something meaningful. But by that moment in time, they will be already educated on this several years of history of working with blockchain companies and understanding what is the core of the technology.
Mm-hmm. And my final question is about the bear market through which we are living now. Is there any silver lining? Is there anything good that is coming out of this bear cycle?
Oh, I'm super excited about the bear market. I actually feel better than last year. Then the reason for this is super simple. I'm the tech guy. I'm the CEO of a dev shop that is developing things. We have multiple products, right? And for us, the bear market means only one thing. There are less scammers that are coming to us and trying to do something, either inside of Aurora ecosystem or just they're trying to sell something to us and stuff like that. The market is cleaning itself. Big trees, sequoias, they are growing for a pretty long period of time. And just recently, scientists figured out that a very, very important piece of their life cycle is actually forest fires. These forest fires destroy everything except for sequoias. They are burning a little bit of the sequoias, and the ash, then the ashes is stimulating the growth of sequoias. So what is happening right now is an insane forest fire. The strongest trees are going to stand, and they are going to develop even more rapidly in the future years. It is needed to burn down all of the scam, all of the weak projects and people, remove the people who are not believing in the core ideals of the blockchain from the ecosystem, clean it a little bit, and move forward faster and even to greater heights. And I'm saying highs not because of the price levels, but rather from the standpoint of the technology and new things developed. So we at Aurora Labs, we're extremely excited about this time. we can focus on work. We are not distracted by big releases and big announcements and stuff like that. We're just continuing our work and relentlessly delivering new products.
Cool. Thank you, Alex, for your ideas, for your insights. Thanks.
Thank you very much.